The moment you step foot on Mustafar, the first thing you notice is the heat, an overwhelming, all-consuming heat. In fact, if you look closely, you'll see your shoes are already melting into the scorched ground beneath you. Mustafar is one of the deadliest places in the galaxy for two main reasons. First, the planet is covered in rivers of lava that come from the near constant volcanic eruptions, every 2.5 seconds to be exact. And second, its atmosphere is a toxic nightmare, filled with gases like sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide that burn your lungs with every breath. It's toxic, but not quite fatal. Well, usually. Imagine standing inside an oven preheated to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Now crank that heat up 4 times higher, and instead of dry air, the walls are bleeding molten rock. That's what it's like to breathe on Mustafar. The heat doesn't just make you sweat, it cooks you alive. Your skin peels off like burnt paper, your blood starts to boil, and even if you could somehow survive the surface temperatures, the air itself is a death sentence. Mustafar isn't just hot, it's the galaxy's version of hell, where the ground flows, the sky burns, and just being there is enough to turn you into smoke. Your odds of survival go a little further up if you stay on platforms above the lava instead of the bare ground. Places like metal walkways and floating droid platforms that were built with advanced tech to withstand the extreme heat. But if you step 1 foot off one of those, it's game over. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have Hoth. Unlike Mustafar, this planet is completely and permanently frozen. So instead of melting, you'd quickly become a frozen solid block when the temperatures drop to about minus 150 degrees Fahrenheit at night. For reference, that's about 3 times colder than the average temperature in Antarctica during the winter. During the day, it quote-unquote warms up to a bone-chilling minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which means if you didn't have the proper equipment, your body would start to freeze in just 30 seconds. But what about someone like you, who's tough enough to handle the cold? Well, Hoth still has plenty of tricks up its sleeve. This icy wasteland is home to the Wampa, a massive 10-foot tall predator covered in thick white fur. It blends perfectly into the snow, just waiting to ambush its next meal, with razor-sharp claws and a crushing bite. If a Wampa spots you, there's a good chance you're on the menu. And that's not even the worst of it. Hoth is constantly battered by brutal snowstorms that will make it impossible to see more than just a few inches ahead. If you get caught in one, you'd quickly lose your way, wandering aimlessly until you collapse, turning into a human popsicle or a cold human kebab. Even if by some miracle the cold and the predators don't get you, there's always a chance of being crushed by falling ice from the many frozen caverns. Or perhaps the joy of starving to death, since there's virtually nothing to eat on the entire planet, unless you develop a taste for raw snow lizard meat. These furry snow lizards, known as tauntauns, might seem like a convenient mode of transportation, but they're also known to throw their riders off their backs when spooked. Imagine landing face first in the snow, breaking several bones, and then watching helplessly as your only means of transportation slowly gallops away into the abyss. Now that would suck. And if all that wasn't enough, Hoth's atmosphere has significantly less oxygen than what humans need to operate. Meaning, even if you somehow avoid freezing to death, your brain would slowly become oxygen starved, leaving you disorientated and unable to make even the most basic survival decisions. You'd start to hallucinate and become completely incapable of thinking straight. It'd be like trying to solve a math equation while you're extremely drunk. It's just not happening. So, unless you're looking to be turned into an ice block or Wampa's midnight snack, Hoth might not be the best vacation spot for you. A slightly more bearable option though is Dagobah, which, unlike Mustafar or Hoth, probably won't immediately kill you. Great news. But don't get too excited, because right from the start, you'll notice there's danger in the mud. Almost 90% of the planet is a thick, sticky swamp where every step is a gamble. One minute you think you're on solid ground, and the next you're sinking waist deep into sticky mud. Big slimy slugs hide just beneath the surface, ready to pop out and swallow you whole before you can even shout. What's worse is the humidity. The air here is so thick with moisture that every breath feels like you're inhaling a wet sponge. Within hours, your clothes are soaked, part sweat, part swamp water, and don't even think about drinking from those stagnant pools. One sip and you'll be doubled over with a gut full of parasites, vomiting your last regrets into the mud. But maybe you came prepared. Water filters, high-end gear, survival training. Doesn't matter. On Dagobah, you're not the hunter, you're the prey. See those vines hanging from the trees? Yeah, those aren't vines. They are vine snakes. Silent, coiled, and just waiting to drop down on your unsuspecting head. And if that doesn't get you, maybe the Jubba bird will. It swoops in from the canopy, eyes locked on anything that moves, looking for its next easy meal. Or maybe it's the dragon snake that gets you first, rising out of the muck when you least expect it. And that cozy looking log you want to sit on? Surprise! It's the home of a bogwing, a bat-like predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Even the force is twisted here. That That creepy cave that Luke explored, it's not the only one. Dagobah is full of these dark, haunted places where the Force warps reality. Step inside and you're met with visions, twisted, disturbing hallucinations that mess with your head. Some people go in thinking they've found shelter and never come back out. Dagobah doesn't kill you all at once. It breaks you down, body and mind, until the swamp swallows you whole. Every second is a fight for survival, and nothing here is ever what it seems. Let's take things up a notch and head to Tatooine. To give you the rundown, this planet is pretty much the complete opposite of Hoth. It's super hot, with two suns constantly beating down on you. Because of these twin suns, daytime temperatures hit about 120 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade, and over 160 degrees Fahrenheit in direct sunlight. But there's more to Tatooine than just the heat. You see, this planet wasn't always a desert. It once had a diverse range of deserts and rainforests, but for unknown reasons, the climate changed and turned it into the dry wasteland we see today. The native Tusken Raiders, a tough band of nomads, have roamed these deserts for generations, and they've learned to dominate with almost no water, using every trick they know to find even the tiniest drop in this harsh land. Without enough water, life here is nearly impossible. Your body would try to cool off by sweating, but in this dry heat, your sweat evaporates almost instantly. You'd be dried out in just a few hours, or even minutes if you're not in top shape. Water is so scarce that every drop is a treasure. Settlers rely on moisture farmers, like Owen Lars, a resourceful man who saves every precious drop with his clever vaporators. Tatooine is a planet that's actively trying to kill you. Massive sandstorms rolling every year, erasing landmarks and leaving you blind in a sea of shifting dunes. But the real danger lies in Tatooine's underworld. Crime lords like Jabba the Hutt, a huge, slug-like alien who rules a lawless empire from his palace in the Dune Sea, control the illegal trade, drawing in smugglers and bounty hunters from across the galaxy.